So, Nintendo's 2022 year. How was it? Was it bad? Was it good? We're going to talk all about it right now. We're going to talk about every single Nintendo first-party game that I have played, and there's a couple on here that have been left out in the dust, and I'm sorry about that, but I'll address them pretty soon. So let's get started with the video. My quick disclaimer is that I haven't been able to get through every single Nintendo game released this year. I have yet to beat Xenoblade Chronicles 3 or Bayonetta 3, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm trying to get to them, and I will get to them at some point, but they just haven't been fitting in with the schedule right now. But let's rank all the other ones. So number 9 on the list is Mario Strikers Battle League, and let me preface this by saying that I actually kind of enjoyed this game, but I understand that there is a super big lack of content, and that's a big bummer, because so many people were looking forward to this game, and sadly, Nintendo kind of had to rely on this game as a big tentpole release, when initially they probably weren't going to have to, but since Tears of the Kingdom probably got pushed back, we don't actually know, but I think it did get pushed back, so since that got pushed back just a bit, I think it put some of these smaller titles that were supposed to be supplemental in more limelight and created a problem. There was a severe lack of content, and there was a severe lack of care that went into this game, with the stages not really working great, being a little too small, and characters being added way later than they should have been. Daisy did not need to be an announcement to come later as DLC. Daisy could have just been in this game and people would have loved it. However, her not being in it and the lack of options and different modes honestly hurt the game. In my opinion, it is pretty fun. However, in all the games I've played on my Nintendo in 2022, this was the least fun. Number 8 is Nintendo Switch Sports, and let me just preface this by saying that I absolutely had a great time with Nintendo Switch Sports. This game is super accessible to people of any background. Say they don't play very much video games, but they have played one of the sports that's included in this package. It creates for a really fun, chaotic night, and I have so many memories of playing this with people in my apartment and stuff like that, and it was really, really fun. So I don't not like this game. However, again, the content has fallen flat, and I never play this game by myself. It's not a game that you're gonna probably play by yourself, but if you have someone who's super into this game with you, then that is like the perfect combo and you're probably gonna love it. Number 7 is Kirby's Dream Buffet, and this game was a $15 eShop drop that just kind of happened out of the blue with some amazing looking food, some great looking graphics, and a very, very crappy online system. I mean, the online was pretty bad. However, what was cool about this game was the nods to the other Kirby games, and it's just a fun little spin-off title that you don't really have to think about too much. It fell off pretty fast, but when I was playing it, I had a really, really good time, and I recently introduced someone else to the game, and they've been loving it, so I think it's just kind of depends on who you are, but for what it is, it's a super fun game. It's just not much. Number 6 is Live Alive, and this game was actually kind of one of the first traditional JRPGs that I've played fully and beaten. So this game is really great. It has a bunch of different stories that all culminate together to create one big, fun, cohesive story that all just like the way the resolution comes up, it's fantastic. But what's really cool about this game is that there are individual stories that lead up to that cumulative story, and each of those individual stories are around 2 hours long. So if you have a couple hours to spare, you can just kind of chip away at this game in between playing other games, and it's so much fun. The graphics are beautiful, the battle system's fantastic, and it's honestly probably my favorite turn-based battle system I have ever played on a JRPG. Granted, I've not played a lot of JRPGs, but I usually don't like them. This one was fantastic in my opinion. So if you haven't already checked out Live Alive, I highly recommend that you give it a try.
Number 5.
It's Kirby in the Forgotten Land, and I literally loved this game, so I'm sorry it's a bit low, but I really just loved most of the games I played this year. I had a really good year with gaming, so Kirby in the Forgotten Land being this low is nothing against the game. And it's a fantastic and the first fully 3D Kirby game ever. Like, main adventure, I guess. So I just had so much fun with this. The power-ups were great, the platforming was tight and precise and fun, and it's an easy game because it's a Kirby game, but what I appreciated was that you could choose your difficulty. Choosing the hard mode isn't really a hard mode. It's more of a take more damage, get a little bit less like health. It doesn't do a lot. However, it's still super fun. The gameplay that's here is great, and the power-up system was awesome. The way that you upgraded each of these power-ups as you went along in the story was fantastic, and I thought the story of this game was just great. I did not expect to have such a cool story in a Kirby game. I don't know if that's something that usually happens. I have not gotten the chance to play the 3DS games yet, but from the other ones I've played, it is not that cool. So I really appreciated what they did here. I appreciated that this was kind of a passion project for HAL, and they took a risk, and it really paid off, and I hope to see more 3D Kirby in the future. Number 4 is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and this game is fantastic. There's so many many technical bugs, there's so many issues with this game, but what is here, what's underneath all those problems, is a really, really fun game that's so dang addicting. I am in the process of completing my Pokedex, and I have beat the game and all of the post-game and literally loved it. I've been playing this game for around 60 hours at this point, and I am not tired of it. And the way that you can play online and with local wireless has been an absolute game changer for me. And me and my friend really enjoy playing this game together. So if you have someone you can play this game with, I highly recommend that you try it out. And honestly, there's so many problems with this game, so that's why it's lower, but this is probably the game that I have had the most fun with this entire year. Number 3 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and honestly, in my opinion, this is one of the best games of the year. Now, I am breaking my rules just a little bit because it is not a Nintendo Switch exclusive or a Nintendo published game. However, I played it on the Switch this year and it came out this year, so I figured I'd throw it in this list just because of how much I enjoyed my time with it. This was a really fantastic beat 'em up with some smooth gameplay and some really awesome boss battles. Each boss felt different and precise and super fun, and the way you could play as all these different characters made the game so freaking replayable that I have way too many hours for a game that's literally 2 hours long. I've put 15 to 20 hours in this game, and it's just because I played through it with every single character I possibly could, because it's just that fun. If you're looking for a good time with couch co-op or friends or whatever, this is the game. It's fantastic. Number 2 is Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game came out really early in the year in January of 2022, and it changed the game. It showed us that Pokemon can be so much more than what it is already. It showed us the potential that this franchise really has. It gave us so many new things, like being able to freely aim and throw the Pokeball at Pokemon, being able to dodge roll out of the way of incoming dangerous Pokemon like they do in the anime. It felt so much more lifelike, so much more realistic, because if you're going to stand in front of a Pokemon and you're Pokemon fighting, you're gonna get hurt. And I love that this game really went all in and they experimented with that stuff. It's not a fully open world, it's more of an open zone game, but honestly, it doesn't hurt the game at all. And this game runs very smoothly, especially compared to the other Pokemon game. If you are a fan of Pokemon, or if you've fallen off of Pokemon and you want to get back on, this is fully the perfect jumping on point, because they even have things like boss battles and a crafting system, and it's such a great time, so I highly recommend that you try that one out as well. But my number 1 favorite game of the year was Splatoon 3, and I don't know if you guys would have guessed that. I don't know if you wouldn't have. It's such a fantastic game from start to finish. I played through the entire story mode, absolutely loved it, and I'm eagerly awaiting for that DLC to come out. And then with the turf battles and the ranked modes and all that stuff, this game is just perfect. So if you don't know, Splatoon is a third-person shooter where you shoot paint instead of actual bullets, and it's such a blast because they really play into that paint element. You're supposed to ink the most turf, you're supposed to cover as much turf as you can with your team's color of ink, and then they just play off of that with other traditional, like tower defense, like a tower defense game, right? You have that in Splatoon. And you have all these different events and modes, a boss rush mode and salmon run. We have a new card mode and tabletop turf battle. That's such a fun time to just waste time away. And the customization that you can do on top of everything else and all the support this game has received is just absolutely immaculate. The one thing is the freaking online sucks, but that's just how Nintendo servers are. So I don't necessarily want to blame this game for something that I couldn't really help, but I do hope that gets better. So yeah, that's my favorite game of the entire year. That's my ranking of all of the games I've played on the Nintendo Switch in 2022. Let me know what your favorite game on the Nintendo Switch was that you played in 2022. I would love to know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, I would love if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, because I make content like this all the time. So much Nintendo Switch content is always coming your way every single week, so make sure you're around to check it out. Anyways, guys, before you go, I want you to check out this video. I talked a lot about Splatoon 3, right? So only naturally, I have a review for it. Make sure you check out that review. It's a good review. It's a fun review. I highly recommend that you check out that review. Thank you so much for being here. Check it out.